Welcome to Changing Suits. We're your hosts, Bal
and Taj, discussing the latest news, views, and general life for us Western Asians.
Follow us on Instagram and Facebook, changing_suits, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Hi, welcome to Changing Suits. My name's Bal.
And my name's Taj.
On this week's episode, me and Taj wanted to invite you into the conversation. What am I talking about, Taj?
I don't know, but I wanted to say, usually you introduce the guest and you give them a title. I feel like I want a title as well.
So today, on today's podcast, we've got Taj. She's the co-founder of Changing Suits, an absolutely fantastic organisation whose work it is to break down cultural barriers for the South Asian community and outside of the South Asian community.
Brilliant. I like it.
Thank you
sorry, I interrupted as well.
You did. Because the reason we've got the podcast today is because we wanted to talk to you listeners. I hate it when I say that. Why do I say you listeners? It's so rude. About the discussion groups that we are now going to start on the 14th of December. Taj, do you want to give a bit of information on why we've decided to do these discussion groups?
Well, basically, through our podcast, we found that quite a lot of people are coming back to us and saying, right, that was a good podcast. Oh, maybe, this bit I enjoyed. Oh, and then giving their opinion. So why not open the forum out and invite people to have that debate, have that discussion, and talk about what we should do in order to resolve this stigma in our community, break those barriers. What's that first one going to be about again?
So it's titled Asian Culture and the Western World. Now, what that actually means is we know that, especially in our generation, that we have had a dose of tradition in the life that we're living, because obviously our parents have come from abroad and they've brought with them the traditions of whichever country they came from, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, wherever it was. But how has that impacted our lives?
Because I was going to ruin it there. I was going to say they brought one suitcase and probably some barfi and mithai in there as well. But anyway.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, they've been really successful with the fact that they only bought. Well, where did they get? Hold on. Where did they get the barfi from? I never heard that anyone came with barfis. Usually,
oh come on! When everyone comes from abroad, they used to, not now. They used to bring some sort of mithai.
Did they?
Yeah, the one with the silver.
Yeah, the foil.
Yeah, is it barfi?
Can I just say,
listeners to message in and tell us what it was called?
Can I just say, everyone always says how they love the taste of that. I don't like that.
Oh God, really?
Yeah, I don't. I really don't.
Oh my God.
But anyway. I didn't know that they bought it, because the usual line you get is one suitcase and what is it, £1 in their pocket. How is it that everyone came with £1 in their pocket?
It's just a saying.
So it's not true, right? They didn't come just with £1, right?
Have you been literally thinking £1?
Yeah, I was like, that's not very much money. But I suppose inflation really has gone up.
No, the whole meaning of that is they didn't have that much money in their pocket.
Oh, they're so dramatic. Just tell us how much money they had in their pocket.
Oh, £2.55. It doesn't give the same.
Okay, fine. So the discussion groups, as you've said, is the fact that we want to open this conversation, because the podcasts are pretty much me and you, and if there's a lucky third person in
this sounds
organization, wrong. Yeah, that does sound funny. But basically, having that discussion between ourselves, whatever the subject is. But what is your opinion? What do you think? Tell us your experience and why you think that. Are we all coming from the same point of view? Or have we missed something that someone else wants to add into it?
Well, that's actually an interesting point, because the whole reason why we started these podcasts is because both of us were saying, okay, we've gone through this experience. I know that other South Asians have gone through this experience as well. So it'd be interesting to see in this discussion, our first one, what date is it again? The 14th of December at 8 p.m. UK time. What everyone's opinion is. Have they gone through that, or is it completely a different, I don't know, viewpoint that they have?
And the other thing is, if they have been through it, how have they come out on the other end? How has it impacted their lives? So if you've been through something, I don't know whether it's domestic abuse, bad relationships with your in-laws, great relationship with your in-laws, has that had a negative or positive effect? Because we all take things very different. I know between ourselves, we are impacted differently mentally and how we go forward in our lives from certain events. So yeah, I think it'll be an interesting discussion.
What do you think is going to come up in this event? What do you for?
Well, the first event really is an intro as to why we're doing this and why we started the changing suits. I mean, I think that's really important that listeners understand um, the whole point of our organization. So, and to understand the point of the reason we started this organization. So, we have taboo subjects, and it's funny whenever we talk to people about what changing suits does, where we say, we talk openly about taboo subjects, like, oh, that's a lot of conversations, and that's the point we're trying to get to, because we can have a lot of discussion groups. That's why we've got so many podcasts, because everything tends to be a taboo in the South Asian
I
culture,
was
doesn't it?
going to say that.
So we've got many, many discussions to have. But how do we take this forward? Because we are the generation that can implement change. Our parents came over, they made a life for us, they made us very, very comfortable. But now it is up to us to let the future generations flourish. But they will only do that if we make a change in our mentality and what we expect of our kids' mentality. And that's why we're doing these discussion groups, because this is a movement. It's not just a discussion, and we can't leave it at just a discussion. It has to create change. Thus, we called it Changing Suits. Right, Taj? Anything else you'd like to add to my
No,
description?
it's very good. I feel like I can't follow it, but I am gonna. So coming together, having the discussion, like you said, it can't just be left at, hey, let's just have an online discussion, leave it there. Because I think you more than anyone, Belle, doesn't like it when we do something and don't have action after it. Because there's no point of it. It's like writing something and throwing it in the piece of paper. We need to move on to the next step. So maybe when we're in the discussion, people that do join can think of the next step that we should take, maybe an event that we should do, or maybe some educational piece that we should do. What is the next step to this? Because it can't be left of, oh, this is happening in our community. Right, okay, we all know about it. We've all been through it. Okay, then bye. It can't be that anymore.
But why can't it be that anymore? I mean, it's worked for years and years and years. So why now?
But has it worked? It hasn't. People are going through mental health issues because we haven't thought, okay, how should we break these barriers? Because we're not moving on to the next step. All right, we are to a certain degree, but maybe not fast enough.
It's interesting also. I mean, it's been really well received, and I'm looking forward to the 14th of December just to see the discussions that come out of it. But I know that some of the attendees that are on there perhaps might not be from the South Asian community, because also we've got a community out there that wants to learn what is the background, why are we even saying taboo subjects, what does that mean, and how is it impacting them and their services they're trying to provide to the wider community. Because as we know, the South Asian community isn't getting the help that they need, even though that the help is out there.
But saying that, what, for example, from a non-South Asian point of view, um, the question is, why are you different? Why are you so different from the Caucasian community? Why? Why do you think your culture? What are you facing different to us?
And that's what these discussions will take out. Because again, the whole reason for these podcasts was always the fact that, we'd have a gossip between ourselves, Taj. And most of what we were gossiping about, or talking about, shall I say, I shouldn't really call it gossip, is pretty much what other people were also going through. And that's why we did it. And so, yeah, I think the discussions will be interesting. Just out of interest, I mean, Taj, do you want to explain a bit about where we're seeing the monthly discussion groups going? Because obviously, the first one is an introduction, so you understand what the plans are, and trying to understand from the listeners what they want to see from the support that we're trying to provide.
So you can register. It's a free event, and you can find the event on Eventbrite. And we really would appreciate if you registered, because we can see the number of attendees there are, and we can also see how much why that people are passionate about having change and making this change. And this is only going to happen if we get involved and talk to each other.
The other thing is, as we go forward, we are going to be discussing specific topics, and we've already got a panel ready for January, rearing to go. So we're looking forward to that. But also, we're going to touch on a number of topics that will affect everybody in their own way. Some topics will affect you more than others. Yeah, fine. However, you know, it's about getting that opinion and that discussion. You will always know someone that has gone through, I don't know, domestic abuse or baby loss, or having problems with their in-laws, or having an arranged marriage or a love marriage. You'll always get that. So let us hear what you're hearing out on the streets and out on the streets out there as well. So
We're
this is
talking
a big.
ghetto here, Belle.
Say that again.
Talking ghetto.
Ghetto. I'm ghetto. I'm from East London, you know.
And
Anyway,
also, what I've seen in a few of the comments are people saying, "I'm going through this, but I've never got to a position where I feel someone can understand." Is that because we're not in a community that is open to talk about certain things? Yep, like we said, that is pretty much it. So maybe this discussion session will be somewhere that you will feel comfortable to talk about the issue that you want to raise, and we will be supportive in doing that.
well, I think the other thing is, I think it's important that the listeners and people out there understand why it's important to support our organisation as well. We're here and we've been doing this for a while to support others out there and see how we can increase engagement to local services and talk about taboo subjects and raise awareness about a number of topics. But also, we're only doing these things because of the help that, whether it's the volunteers or whether it's the listeners, or come along to these support groups and support us as well, because we need to see that the work that we're doing is having an effect and people do care about the issues that we're talking about. Because if you don't, then we'll stop doing them. Just putting it out there.
But also, it would be really good if you followed us on our Instagram page, changing_suits, and also on our page on Facebook, Changing Suits, because on there we regularly put up posts about the next thing that we're doing, the next event that we're holding online, in person, the next podcast that we're doing. The fact that we want volunteers to come forward and support us. Actually, Belle, that's a good point. What about volunteers for the organisation as well? Why is it important that we have volunteers for the organisation?
The thing is, the organisation's growing quite nicely, and everyone wants to help, because I think everyone is well aware that there is an issue out there, and not just one issue, many issues that is causing mental health problems and isolation, because people think that they're the only ones going through it, which, as we know, isn't true. But hopefully, with volunteers helping us, the word is out there a lot stronger, and you know other people, the more people that are helping to get the word out there, the stronger the organization will grow, and means that we can do more projects like this. And we have got big plans next year, very big plans, to help as many people as we possibly can. But that's only going to happen if we have volunteers holding our hands also to move the organization forward.
And actually, talking about volunteers, we were in a meeting. This was when we were organising our face-to-face event, our first one that we held in October. And it was amazing when we were having the volunteer discussion meeting, should I say. And there was one volunteer who said, right, we should do this. And the fact that she said we felt so amazing. It's not our organisation, it's all of our organisation. As in, it's not mine and Belle's, it's everyone's, and we're here. We should all be supporting each other. And another thing is the volunteers, and we're getting lots of volunteers that are coming forward that want to do various things, but we always need new volunteers. It's really needed. And the fact that these volunteers are so passionate makes it even more worthwhile.
So on the 14th of December at 8 p.m. And notice we have done it at 8 p.m. So it's a time that hopefully the kids are asleep. And if they're not, then you need to start putting your kids to sleep a bit earlier.
But it doesn't have to be only people that have kids.
You are right. And it doesn't only have to be people in the UK, because as we know, this podcast is reaching international waters, I guess.
And it doesn't have to be only females. Please, males, come on as well. Share your opinion. Let's have a different dimension to this
Yeah,
conversation.
on that point, I think that's a really important point. I think this is something I've had a discussion with my husband about, and I've said, you know what, you have to come on this discussion group, because all of these taboo subjects are very much things that are affecting everyone in a household. Your partner, if you have a partner, will be affected by it as well. And it was interesting when we had a podcast a little while back where we were discussing the strain on someone's marriage caused by the husband's parents. This is a little while ago. Um, he said, "Hold on, how do you not know? Why are you not sort of considering my opinion on it?" And it's a really good point, because me and you are female, as we can see, and we didn't think of the other side. It is just from the female perspective. So we do need a different dimension. We need to open our eyes to say, actually, there's more feelings involved, more emotions involved, and more people's mental health involved than just ours, the female perspective.
So again, it's on the 14th of December, UK time, 8 p.m. And everyone is welcome. It doesn't have to be just people in the South Asian community. It's about building awareness of the South Asian community. So it's open to anyone that wants to join.
And also, a few people have asked the question of, do we need to join in the discussion? The answer to that is no. You don't need to join in. You can listen to the discussions that are taking place. However, what I would say is it would be really helpful to the conversation if you did get involved, because we want to hear your opinion. And a conversation is more than just me and Taj talking, although we can talk to save our lives. Is that the saying?
Yeah, yep, that's it.
But we don't want it to be just us talking. We want everyone else talking. So yeah, you can come, and we won't pick on you. I'll try and not pick on you. No, I'm joking. I
No,
won't
we
pick on
won't.
you. No, I won't pick on you. But having your opinion or your experience shared would be fab as well.
But again, like you said, it's for everyone to join in their opinions and everything. But if you don't feel comfortable in doing that, we respect that as well.
Perfect. So join us for the Asian culture and the Western world taboo talk discussion group on the 14th of December at 8 p.m. You can register for free. The event is free online on Eventbrite. And if you've seen our posters all over our social media, then you can use the QR code, which is very, very helpful. And that will get you to register quite simply on that.
And just to add, it would be amazing if you could share it with your friends and family. Let's make this a really good discussion and involve as many people as we can.
On that note, my name's Bal.
And my name's Taj.
Follow us on Instagram and Facebook, changing_suits, and subscribe so you never miss an episode.